director Denis Villeneuve the one who finally does justice to Frank Herbert's sci-fi epic Dune? Well, not quite. For all its amazing imagery, A-list stars, and very cool interpretations of the nerdier aspects of the classic novel, this version of Dune doesn't fully coalesce.
Remove your hand from the box, and you die.
What's in the box?
Pain.
To be clear, the on-screen title of this installment is actually Dune Part 1, as the decision was made to divide the sprawling novel into 2 parts. This results in an adaptation that allows many of the book's smaller moments and supporting characters to breathe more, but also is perhaps too devoted to Herbert's work. Heresy, yells the Frank Herbert fan, but we all know that what works in a book might not work in a movie and vice versa. And Villeneuve's biggest misstep with Dune Part 1 is how misshapen and plotting it feels in its second half, as if the movie doesn't quite know how or where to end before it just suddenly does. Timothée Chalamet stars as Paul Atreides and is as dreamy, misunderstood, and tortured as you could want the heartthrob to be here, and that's a compliment. Paul's having prophetic dreams of a mysterious girl, Zendaya's character Chani, who some viewers may be distressed to learn is barely in this movie beyond those dreams. Still, this is part 1, so be patient. It's Zendaya's voiceover that opens the movie, succinctly summing up the violent history of her home planet Arrakis. The sequence is a triumph over the exposition that continuously threatens to bring any adaptation of Dune down, but unfortunately, the filmmakers don't always succeed on this same front moving forward. Still, Villeneuve frequently impresses with his ability to take tried and true sci-fi concepts and put some new spin on them. His take on the powers of the Bene Gesserit, for example, lead to a moment that's wonderfully off-putting and effective. The script also benefits from injecting occasional bits of humor into the universe-shaping events of the film, and the casting of charismatic actors like Jason Momoa and Josh Brolin help to drive those humanizing elements home.
Hey, you. Put on some muscle?
I did?
No.
In fact, the cast is solid across the board. Among its smattering of famous faces are Rebecca Ferguson and a heavy with responsibility Oscar Isaac as Paul's mother and father, Javier Bardem as the leader of the Fremen, the natives of Arrakis, and Charlotte Rampling as the scary Bene Gesserit Reverend Mother. And then there are the villains. Stellan Skarsgård is effectively grotesque and sinister as Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, the bane of House Atreides, while his nephew Dave Bautista's beast Rabban is vicious enough that any memory of Drax will be long gone while watching this film. And Dune is certainly capable of transporting the viewer to its alien landscapes via its many technical achievements in production design, costumes, photography, sound, visual effects, and more. There is no detail spared in immersing the audience in this fantastical world. Which is to say, there's so much to love in Dune, but it doesn't always come together as a whole. Villeneuve has proven himself to be a master of the kind of smart and stylish sci-fi that a modern Dune adaptation demands, and that certainly shows in the visuals and sound. But there's a shapelessness to the latter part of the movie that drags it down and distracts from its beauty. It's a story that ends at Act 2, and it shows. Just as Duke Leto himself would find out, harnessing the power of Dune is no easy task.
There's something happening to me. There's something awakening in my mind. I can't control it.
Denis Villeneuve's Dune is beautiful to behold, a faithful adaptation of Frank Herbert's novel. Or the first half of it, that is. And therein lies the problem that the film faces. For in cutting the story into 2 parts, Villeneuve has front-loaded Dune with a lot of setup and no obvious way to end things, and so it lingers, and eventually overstays its welcome. This is a technically brilliant, visually amazing movie with a top-notch cast and deep sci-fi concepts. A shame, then, that it feels like a drag in its back half.
Smile, Gurney.
I am smiling.
For more, check out our reviews of Candyman and Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings. For everything else, stick with IGN.
Only together can we stand a chance.